We start with a stark geographic divide. In the foreground, a quiet, weathered mud house sits in a rural village. In the distance, the glowing haze of a modern metropolis promises a completely different way of life. Here we find Aalu. He is a farmer whose daily reality is dictated by the soil. His labor is physical, his yields are measurable, and his identity is deeply grounded in the work he does with his own hands. His partner, Bindi, is looking out at that distant city. She has a specific goal: to pass her exams and become an IPS police officer. This is a desire to completely rewrite her socioeconomic reality and escape the rural working class. Ambition naturally disrupts contentment. It creates a vacuum between the reality you currently occupy and the status you wish to achieve. And bridging that gap requires capital. Subsistence farming generates daily calories. It does not generate tuition money. To reach the city and fund her studies, they need an immediate influx of cash.
Aalu liquidates his only physical asset. He takes the deed to his home and mortgages it to the wealthy village moneylender. This diagram illustrates the extreme asymmetry of the transaction. On one side, we have concrete, life-sustaining equity, the home. On the other side, a hollow outline representing unproven potential. The scale tips heavily because the market only values the physical collateral. By declaring that her dream is now his dream, Aalu takes on 100% of the catastrophic risk. If she fails, he loses his shelter. If she succeeds, she keeps the career. Bindi boards a bus to the city. The physical distance between them begins to mirror a growing economic divide. When one person liquidates their physical reality to fund another's upward mobility, a severe power imbalance is born. The question becomes whether their relationship can carry that weight. Bindi succeeds. She is now a high-ranking IPS officer, navigating a city defined by speed, glass, and steel. She meets Baigan. He represents the polish of the elite, where status is the primary currency. He offers her entry into a world of high-level social networks and effortless luxury. As Bindi spends more time in air-conditioned offices and luxury cars, the village begins to feel increasingly small and unsophisticated. She stops seeing Aalu's labor as a sacrifice and views it as a lack of ambition. This friction peaks during a phone call. When Aalu reaches out from the fields, Bindi finds his poverty incompatible with her new identity. She severs the tie, choosing her new title over their shared history. This graph shows how the delusion of upward mobility sets in. The sharply rising blue line represents her new status. The flat white line is the steady, unchanged relational equity of the person who funded it. As the gap between these two lines widens, the perception of mutual value collapses. The foundation is discarded because it no longer matches the height of the new structure. Ambition recalibrates the moral compass, often replacing foundational loyalty with transactional convenience as the seeker rises. Bindi fully assimilates into Baigan's circle. She is surrounded by the illusion of permanent, effortless wealth. Then the ecosystem crashes. Bindi wakes up one morning to find Baigan completely vanished. Every piece of jewelry, cash, and her possessions are gone. He leaves behind a single letter. It explicitly states he never cared for her, only the wealth and status she temporarily held. Baigan operated on the model of extraction, taking what he didn't earn. Aalu operated on a model of investment, giving what he couldn't afford. A life built entirely on superficial status markers is actually a fragile economic bubble. It is destined to pop the exact moment true loyalty is required. Stripped of her wealth and her title's influence, the city that molded her now ignores her. She makes the humiliating journey back to the village. She is returning to the exact poverty she sacrificed Aalu to escape. She finds Aalu still working the fields. She begs for forgiveness, fully expecting the anger and rejection she mathematically deserves. This is the collision of two different worldviews, a corrupted mind expecting a transactional punishment, and a grounded mind capable of foundational grace. Aalu's decision to forgive her reveals the nature of his investment. It was a permanent grant of support, independent of her success or her failure. This diagram represents the concept of intrinsic value. When the external layers of achievements, wealth, and status shatter, you are left with the core identity of a human being, Aalu valued her inner core. Bygone only valued the outer shell. We face constant societal pressure to abandon old, quiet relationships in favor of shiny, high-status networks. Steady, unconditional loyalty provides the only security capable of surviving a burst bubble, a type of safety that titles and wealth cannot replicate.